Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have some updates for you, as well as I'll do a Divine Masculine read for you today. Thank you, of course, all of you for all of your likes, subscribes, and shares, and your comments. They're always so much appreciated. For those of you who are new to me, my website is twinflames3344.com, and my email the same at gmail.com, and everything is below. So if you need any help with coaching and the Twin Flame experience, as well as Reiki, card readings, and numerology as well. And I have a CD out called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames, and it's available on iTunes, Google, CD Baby, and Amazon. So starting with the energies, I'm going to start back on the 10th. Because for the Divine Masculine, on the 10th, and that day happened to be the Knight of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune energies. Because I'm having some work done on my home, a lot of these things were becoming very apparent on the Divine Masculine side. Needing respect for my home, so it's paralleling not only to your home, but then to your actual home, your body. Making sure other people respect your boundaries. But for the Divine Masculine, it was about guilt and shame and defensiveness and pride, and that victim mentality coming up. The Divine Feminine is called to speak her truth, especially right now in business relations, in dealing with money issues. And so when the Divine Feminine is speaking her truth, she has to allow the Divine Masculine to react the way he's going to react, even if he acts childish or gets defensive or refuses to admit the truth, right? Because then they're wrong if they're not perfect. So it's this issue coming up about not being perfect. So if they can't be like this Jesus image, then they get their feelings hurt right away, and then they go into that victim mentality of being defensive and feeling guilty, the pride thing coming up, and wounding around Mary Magdalene. Allow them to heal themselves. That's the job of the Divine Feminine right now, to stand back and allow them to learn this process for themselves. They have to do this. All your job is just to love, to say what you have to say, even if it hurts somebody else's feelings, and then just stand back to allow them to go through their process while you just continue to love. They need to know that even if you fight and disagree, that you're not going to go, you're not going to leave, you're not going to walk away. So it's just important to be there. That day also, judgment was coming up a lot. Responses from the Divine Masculine, like, you know, we're going to be good little boys, you know, thinking, oh, now that their pride came up, but they have to continue to deal with the situation, they're now justifying to themselves why they're reacting the way they're reacting instead of dealing with their wounds, okay? Taking criticism, they need to learn to take criticism to expand rather than fold. Allow them to go through the discomfort, the feelings, and just be loved. So they need to come to their own conclusions about this. And it's all about pride. But for the Divine Feminine, it's about not allowing others to be careless with your home, your body, and this is creating the boundaries. If someone's being foolish or not, or being careless and not treating you or your things the way they should, you need to speak your truth, whether it makes the situation uncomfortable or not. We need to learn to go through the uncomfortable situations in order to get to where, you know, we really want to be, and allow the chips to fall where they may. Okay. So it was very interesting because I'm having my kitchen floor redone. So as I brought up on my last video, it's all about transformation and rebirth. And my floor is very representative of that. I had to take up more than I was expecting to, of course, with these projects. This always ends up happening. But it leads into the importance of building that strong foundation and doing it right the first time. And I'll get into that in a minute. But for the 10th, it was such Scorpio energy. My son's a Matthew Scorpio. And the first day I had 2 Matthews, 1 Scorpio. The second day a different worker came, so I had 2 Matthews who were both Scorpios, in addition to my own son being a Matthew Scorpio. So this, is really strong confirmation that we are in those strong Scorpio energies. Okay, and then on the 10th I also got 2 Knights, with about the 2, referring to the 2 Mats. These young guys who are doing a lot of work and on a mission. I got the number 88,000 twice in 1 week, which is very strange. That's a 5-digit number. That's pretty rare. And also later on the 10th, the Divine Masculine was now just ignoring. Once they verbally are lashing out in the morning, kind of like talking to themselves to justify them doing what they did when they were actually wrong. Then they get to a place of ignoring you, okay? Because that's, they act like a child pouting because they don't want to own up to not being perfect, okay? And it's not because they're trying to be mean, but it's that wound mechanism. They want everyone to be able to depend on them. So if they've made a mistake, in the wounding of our history, that could have cost lives, right? In the Divine Masculine's eyes. So it's very important then to be perfect. But they can't, because everybody makes mistakes. But the point is not for the Divine Masculine to learn a different response, and when they are criticized, to not get defensive and act like a child, but say, oh, maybe there's something I need to work on within myself, maybe there's something I need to clear. And so they're just learning this process that we've already been through, or most of us anyway. It depends how long you've been on the journey. I was getting on the 11th, then we had the Page of Wands and the Justice. So 11 is Justice, and it added up to 26, which is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is an excitable boy, right? He's very active and excitable, wants to go out on a date, right? So it's that kind of energy, along with justice and balance. Things for me in my situation started settling down between the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine that day. The disagreements from the prior days, and it's over business and money. Settling down as we both withdraw to understand our perspective and allow, the Divine Feminine blocking the spending of money because of the way we've been programmed to save. And that it's really important that we just understand that money is an energy exchange, and so we need to allow and let go of it, okay? Especially to get our dreams, what we want, instead of, that's a block. When you resist, if something ends up being more than you expected it to be, and you resist, you're just blocking yourself. It's just the universe's way of saying there's something more you need to do. So in my case, it was more, you need to dig up the floor more and do it right the first time, so that there's a strong foundation. Chiron is going into Aries, or going, it's been in Pisces, going into Aries on the 17th of this month, which for me is very significant. I was in the Pisces return group, which was about the past 8 years. I'm not sure if it's 8 exactly, around then. I know it was at least 7 or 8 years, something like that. So for me and my twin, we've both been in our Chiron return for a long time now, and it's ending for us on the 17th. So that's a big shift for me. So anyone who's in my age group, I think the Chiron return for Pisces was about 60, I don't know if it was right from my year, it might have been more than 8 years. But it was at least from 1960, anyone born from 1960 to 68 or so. You can look up the exact dates. So I've been, for the past many years, from probably, I'm 56 now, so from probably about age 48 or so, I've been going back and revisiting my parents and dealing with issues directly with them before my mother got Alzheimer's and my father passed away. Had to go back and have some wounds come up in regards to the way I related with both of my parents. So a lot has happened since then. I left my job of 25 years. I had a back injury for the past 5 years, and then a major concussion as well, losing some more of my memory, which you all know is an issue in our journey. So I'm glad that this shift is leaving for me. So it should be interesting what happens as we go into Aries. But it will be a major shift for sure. Also, interestingly enough, one of my chimney caps had blown off many years ago in a storm, and the date they scheduled to replace the cap is the 17th, so it's like capping off my Chiron return. So that was very interesting. The numbers that came up on the 11th were 18 and 9, which are all about compassion and endings, completing things, finishing everything up. And just continuing, expressing your feelings, even when you feel like you have no power or control. And express your feelings when truth comes up, even if it's uncomfortable for you. Allow. Strength in allowing the Christ light to fall around you and onto others by speaking your truth directly, and let the chips fall where they may. Especially for the Divine Feminine right now, she's in the King of Pentacles energy. You're mastering your business skills, okay? Your masculine side. And mastering money is not about controlling it. It's a form of energy exchange. It must flow freely, no blocks. Just remember, if things end up not going the way you want or costing more than you thought, it's the universe's way of telling you that this needs to happen in order for you to have something better down the road. Okay? So just to allow. The victim mentality is coming up on both sides right now. Is someone taking advantage of you? It's trust issues, and pride. Pride more for the Divine Masculine, for the Divine Feminine, it's more of trust and being taken advantage of. So you need any wounds of that nature, you need to go back and revisit. Okay? Pride, Divine Masculine, and trust for the Divine Feminine, and both of you, the victim mentality, because you need to release that. Everything, any confrontations you have is because your own subconscious energies are reflecting out into your space, drawing into people who may argue with you or disagree with you. So it has to do with both of you, so you always both have to clear those wounds. And another reminder too that has come up, that remember that two negatives equal a positive. So sometimes there's a reason for negative events, okay? And when they're really explosive and there's two negatives, it's going to come out, it's like a quick clearing, instead of a slow meditation clearing or a sage clearing. These sudden events that you deem as difficult are quick clearings because they burn everything up quickly. Okay? Gets a lot of stuff up and out of you. So look at these things as a fun challenge, okay? Something I thought of too about this twin flame journey was the idea of, when you're a kid and you go down to the beach and a 10-foot wave comes up, really close to the sand, and it catches you and it slams you down and your face is in the sand and the sand gets into every crevice of your body, and you fight and you fight until you just can't, because now you're just going with the wave, and if you resist, you know, you're going to get more hurt. So you allow. It's like all of a sudden the release and realizing that you have no control. You just have to allow, and that's how you get what you want. Okay? So when that 10-foot wave takes you down and shoves your face in the sand, it's a way of getting that into every part of your being to make you understand you need to let go. You don't have, no matter what you think in any situation, you have no control. You really have no power. All of that is an illusion. That's why we want to stay present and just allow. And I wanted to bring up the Scorpio energies. Having 3 Matthew Scorpios in my life at the moment, and another Matthew. Scorpio energy is all about transformation, deep transformation, death, sex, money, and taxes, which, where are we right now? Okay? It's very deep, profound, transformative energy. You know, that's like my floor is a perfect representation of the Scorpio energy. You know, digging up everything about your core, about the root energies, your safety and security, to expose everything so you can have a fresh start. Okay. And the moon was coming up. The full moon has been coming up a lot. So something's happened in this next full moon because it's coming up on almost every read I do. It's really important that for the Divine Feminine, to know that your Divine Masculine is worth waiting for. You know, you're waiting for the true one who actually gets you, the only one in this world who will truly get who you are, and vice versa. Okay, so for those of you who are considering going back into other soulmate or karmic relationships, it may extend timelines. So you know, if you're called to do that, it's fine, but just know what your truth is, who you are, and what you want, and just, you know, go within yourself, feel your discomforts within your body, meditate on that. It'll bring up the wounds associated with those discomforts in your body, whether it's your solar plexus or your heart or somewhere else. Whenever you feel a discomfort in your body, it's your body calling attention to that specific location, literally, even when you have an injury, right? It's not to push the pain away, it's to go into it more deeply, feel it. It's only when we go into it that it allows it to release. Okay. Then that night on the 11th, I ended up seeing Wyatt, just a little bit of it, Wyatt Earp, which I've never seen before. And I'd just gotten off the phone with a twin flame friend, and as soon as I do, I unmute, and I'm right in the scene where Wyatt Earp is making out with some woman. And when they stop kissing, he walks to leave, and she says, "Wyatt, I love you." And then she leaves, and he leans on the door, thinking very thoughtfully of her because he loves her too. And then I see him, and I know nothing about the story. And then I see him go home to this woman who I assumed was his wife, who's drunk and a mess, and yelling at him if he doesn't dump that whore that she's gonna kill herself. And he's going to pay for it. It's going to be on his head. Okay, so this is an example of what the Divine Masculine is going through. Not necessarily those specific situations, but that same thing. That it's not just the Divine Feminine who's going through difficult times. The Divine Masculine is also dealing with his own karmic situations. Yep. So then we're yesterday was the Devil and the Hangman. So I woke up yesterday morning, and for those of you who watch, you know I do sand art, and I literally opened my eyes looking at my sand art, which I had finished the night before, because a lot of times I'll do it before I go to bed. I'll watch the sand go down. And sometimes there's still a little bit more to come down, but it takes a long time for the last bit of sand to come down sometimes. So I went to sleep at that point. So what I went to sleep with that night, so it wasn't last night but the night before, was an image of basically a huge shark with a toothache. So you can imagine the damage a shark with a toothache can do. So it was really negative, deep energy, you know, of shark attack. And when I woke up, I literally opened my eyes right in that direction, seeing the letter M on my sand art, and that was definitely Mary Magdalene energy. But for me, it was also translating into the Matthew energy, right? Because I had all these Matthews. So of course, I was guided to look up Matthew. So we have the devil energy, 4/12/2018. 12 is the hangman. And the hangman is about seeing things differently than everyone else. He's seeing things wisely because he's not just going along with the crowd. He's stopping to think about things and try to see things from a different perspective, especially when triggered by feeling like a victim or that someone's trying to take advantage of you. And I was also taken back to that night from the 11th to the 12th. I had no floor in my kitchen, which is, you know, that's like a 4D place, right? No floor in your kitchen. I was able to walk on loose boards to get to my fridge to eat and that kind of thing. So it was a very uncomfortable night because I couldn't just freely go in and out of my kitchen at all. You know, I could literally fall off these planks into the space below. So it reminded me of of James Bond in Live and Let Die, where he had to hop from alligator to alligator, and that gave me nightmares for a long time. I was very young when I watched that. I don't know how, maybe I was a teenager, but anyway, it definitely reminded me of James Bond hopping from alligator to alligator in Live and Let Die. And Live and Let Die, how much does that parallel Scorpio energy, right? So that I started saging the kitchen to bring up the energy for both me and the workers there, and everything was getting better, you know, because now we're getting the floor down that day, and things are starting to stabilize. Then I started getting codes, messages for me, and for the collective, for the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. And it's all about support issues. That a tidal wave of emotions was coming up. For the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, that the Divine Feminine isn't expressing her feelings at home, and that, like puppets on a string, God is guiding the roots of hell to suddenly come up to clear, which is very risky business. Balancing the twin flame world by burning down the house to expose wrongdoing. So anything that was built on faulty ground would come up to be exposed. Bringing to light wounds of battle for the Divine Masculine, where they had to give up, right? They couldn't continue the battle. And you would think that they would feel like a failure, but in this case, no. It's now exciting the boy in them, being able to arrive home in glory because he's still alive. So feeling any battles he's going through right now, he's going to have gratitude for the fact that he still has his life, as opposed to winning the battle, which is great. So I was guided to look up Matthew, because Matthew was everywhere. So it was 10:17 when I looked up Matthew King James Version, and so I was guided to 10:17. And there was an ad that said, "Can we trust the Bible? You decide on April 24th." And 24th is the Queen of Wands. And there's a big significance to the Queen of Wands. I haven't figured out quite what it is yet, but it has to do with the Divine Masculine. And you would think it has to do with the karmic, but I really believe it has to do with the Divine Masculine's energy. And 24 comes up in a lot of the spiritual numbers. 12 and 12 is 24, so it's going to come up with a lot of the spiritual numerology. So, and interesting enough, my mother's soul number is 24, and she's in an Alzheimer's facility right now. Not happy. I mean, she has some good quality of life. She can enjoy her food and watch TV and have fun. She likes watching sexy boys on TV. So that's kind of funny. But other than that, she has no quality of life, and she was a very intelligent woman, so she would not want to live like this. But I think she's finding gratitude for the small things in life now. So with the King James Version, I first went to chapter 1:10 as opposed to 10:17, and that was all about the generations, talking about Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and then the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. And then chapter 18 there, or verse 18, exposed Mary for being pregnant prior to being married to Joseph. So it was interesting that I was guided to bring that up. Because remember, we're changing the templates about this, that it's not okay to get pregnant out of wedlock, right? And also the 14s are very important because it's also a spiritual number. 14 is the temperance card, and then 14 plus 14 is 28, which is the Two of Wands. Okay, and 28 is also my address, which is very significant to me. And then 14, 14, 14, so the 3 14s is 42, which is the Two of Cups, which is union. Okay. It also happens to be my father's soul number, so very interesting. And you see that between my mother and father. One was 24, one was 42, which is the exact reflection of each other, and they were both Geminis, which are the twins. So I think my parents are supposed to be brought into this as a twin example at the moment. So in chapter 10:17, beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And so I was guided to look up scourge, because I wasn't familiar with that word, which is whip or torture. And it was 11:11 when I had to look up that word. And there was an ad for another Matt, it's a political person, Matt Bay or Bay, I'm not sure how he pronounces his last name. But it was an ad saying, fire the special counsel. So I don't care about what's going on in the political world, but here we have another Matt in my world, okay, Matthew Scorpio, and it's talking about firing the special counsel, and we're dealing with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, both dealing with potential legal issues right now, and councils, firing special counsel, no matter what the contract is or what the legal issue is. So chapters 1 through 4 was about the 12 apostles, him giving them healing gifts in order to help the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and to talk of heaven. Guided not to prepare, to stay present. Don't prepare a speech. Don't prepare a suitcase. Don't bring extra clothes. Just stay present, and Spirit's connecting with me. Go as you are and speak with God's voice, okay? So this is what they were told. Salute the house. So when you go into other people's homes or even the woods, you offer your gratitude, okay? Salute the house. Give your peace to those who will receive you. If not worthy, then let the peace return back to you. Don't let it take you down, right? And if they won't receive you, just shake it off. It's okay. It's all good. The sheep amongst wolves comes up in this verse and line. So to be wise like the serpent, but harmless like doves. And the serpent being the Kundalini rising, right? Be wise, but harmless like the dove. Okay? The angels with wings. So 18, in summary, that you will be used for your testimony, okay? So don't allow people to use you to defend them, okay? If it's not in your heart to defend them, okay? They may tell you things to get them to defend them when they don't deserve your defense. 19 was don't prepare speech. 20 was to channel, explaining that to speak God through you without preparing a speech. 21 was the men rising against each other, even parent, child to parent, that they would rise against each other. And 22 was, I basically summarized as hatred will die and love will live. But I was guided to this chapter because you're supposed to be careful when you read, okay? Because there's a lot of truth in the Bible, but there's also lies in the Bible, the templates that we are breaking now, okay? As far as, us leaving behind people and even family members who no longer resonate with us in the past may be seen as, a really bad person if you're turning your back on someone, right? An eye for an eye. So when I got to 28, and 28 is very significant again for me, and it's the Two of Wands, which is the twin flames. It says, fear not that which kills the body. Fear him able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Okay, so fear the devil. So that was the template of making you fearful so you would not ascend. And I was connecting when I was reading this, and basically God, source, love, whatever, however you want to refer, prime creator, I was getting, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Okay, so this is the error in those words. If you fear the devil, then you are in fear, and you are going to produce lack, okay? Because you bring into you the energy that you put out, okay? So I was specifically called to that line to bring that up, that is not truth. That the truth is there is nothing to fear but fear itself. 29 to 42, just in summary, were like to give in the name of love, not to have known a disciple. So don't attach to fame and fortune, basically. There's nothing wrong with fame and fortune if it's because you've done something that you truly love and you're authentic to. But it's not to attach yourself to people just, to get famous because of them or to receive money because of them. So then I was guided, I heard the Last Supper. Okay, so from the movie Jesus Christ Superstar, the song The Last Supper, where the apostles are singing about their time with Jesus, right? Look at all my trials and tribulations, sinking in a gentle pool of wine. Okay, don't disturb me now. I can see the answers. Till this evening as this morning, life is fine. Always hoped that I'd be an apostle. Knew that I would make it if I tried. Then when we retire, we can write the Gospels, so they'll all talk about us when we've died, all right? So they're looking to be known, to be famous. It's pride. So then Jesus says in the song, the end is just a little harder when brought about by friends and spirits connecting with me. For all you care, this wine could be my blood. For all you care, this bread could be my body. And in reference to these lines, see what he's saying here. He's saying, for all you care, this wine could be my blood. He's saying you don't care about him. So why would you continue a religion where you're drinking his blood and eating his body, okay? Which I totally resonate with these lines, okay? The end, this is my blood you drink. This is my body you eat. If you would remember me when you eat and drink, when you are being with others and seeing others, sharing love between you. That's what he meant by eating and drinking. I must be mad thinking I'll be remembered. Yes, I must be out of my head. Look at your blank faces. My name will mean nothing 10 minutes after I'm dead. One of you denies me, one of you betrays me. And then the second verse, the only line that changes is, what's that in the bread that's gone to my head? So now they've been drinking, so they're getting drunk and making foolish decisions, right? And then Judas comes up. You sad, pathetic man, see where you brought us to. Our ideals die around us, all because of you. But the saddest of all, someone has to turn you in, like a common criminal, like a wounded animal, a jaded mandarin. And then a lot of jaded, faded, jaded mandarin. Every time I look at you, I don't understand why you let the things you did get so out of hand. You'd have managed better if you'd had it planned. Okay, but here we are being guided to stay present and not plan. And then Jesus, his last line is, will no one stay awake with me? Peter, John, James. Will none of you wait with me? Peter, John, James. Okay. So then I was guided to look up the seventh apostle. And the first explanation I got was that Thomas, the Didymus, was the seventh, and showing that Didymus means twin. And he was also described as the melancholy. When Christ said, don't be unbelieving, but believe, because of doubting Thomas, and that was in John 20:27, Thomas, seeing the resurrected Lord, says, my Lord and my God, because now he believes. Okay, so it's all about pride and believing, having faith. And then I saw another list, and then Matthew is the seventh in that list, which still resonates, right? And Matthew is the tax collector, right? So they're collecting all the money. So it's all about learning about the exchange of money, that it's just energy and not to hold to it like it's love, because it's not. It's just a thing. It's just energy exchange. So to be freer with the way you give, and not be afraid, because then that's fear, right? To spend money. If it's in your heart, if it's something that you're really passionate about, allow it. Let go of the blocks and the restrictions. The final thing I was guided to as far as the Bible and the Last Supper, that the Divine Masculine is now, my point is, the Divine Masculine is relating to himself as Jesus in the Last Supper. So the pride and losing friends, that they're turning their back on him, and his pride in that, and I'm getting a spiritual connection. Okay, that he needs the strength and the courage. It's setting in for those deep emotions to sort themselves out. Okay, to come out of the basement in slow motion. It's like everything's becoming surreal for the Divine Masculine. It's new, while God is overseeing all of this. And I was guided to 2 Corinthians 12:2. I know a man in Christ above, 14 years ago, and here 14 comes up again, the Temperance Sagittarius card. Whether in body I cannot tell, or whether out of body I cannot tell, God knoweth, such an one caught up to the third heaven. So again, I said 14 3 times before with the other one, and now we have 14 and third heaven. 14 times 3 is coming up again. Okay, that's 14, 28, and 42 are very significant numbers, and 3 as the Trinity. Okay, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And in this case specifically, Jesus, Yeshua, Mary, and the third energy, God. Okay, so love. So that was all about having that phrase from Corinthians about having faith and complete surrender. It doesn't matter if you know in your head, it's only what you have, you know in your heart, your knowing. To have faith in your own knowing. And don't let someone in 3D tell you otherwise. Okay, trust your own intuition. So then on the 12th, the energy continued with support. I literally got codes of 1 stacked upon 2. So there needs to be 2 layers of support to be strongest, to support 1, which is the triangle. Okay? So it's specifically showing that the triangle is stronger than 2 squares upon each other, which I literally saw as 44. I had 2 cards, and they weren't the numbers 44. They were one was the hangman, because the legs are always positioned in that 4, like this. And there were 2 of them. There's another card where the leg positions were exactly the same. And it was literally a reversed and reflected 44. And that would be like a square upon square. It's not as strong as the triangle. Okay? So you need to start with a very strong foundation to build upon. Okay? Do it the right way. Don't do it the rushed way. It's all about this Scorpio energy of bringing all the old up to reconstruct the right way. Yeah. You can do a lot of work, but if you avoid the simple basic steps, it will eventually fall. Last night I ended up watching Rockstar, and there was a line that I wrote down. It's Jennifer Aniston. When he leaves his original band to go off and become famous, because they basically wanted him to leave. They wanted her to stay and still manage them. And she says, "I'm a businesswoman, but the one thing I know is to follow the talent," and all of the talent just left the room. And this is paralleling what the Divine Masculine is going through. Like, so everyone's pushing the Divine Masculine out, but the Divine Masculine is all the talent. And then I saw some of 9 to 5 as well, which was a hoot, because that was a fun movie with Dolly Parton and 2 others, Jane Fonda, and I'm blanking on the other name, Lily Tomlin. But Lily's name was Violet in the movie, so I liked that a lot. And she, if you remember correctly, they kidnapped their boss, and everything ended up well because they did everything out of their heart space, you know, what was real and authentic for them. And I love that her name was Violet. And then the Hermit's still coming up. Judgment, Hermit, Magician, the World, all these very profound things are coming up for the Divine Masculine. For the I just wanted to make sure I had remembered everything about the Scorpio energy coming up. I did sand art before I went to bed last night, so it was actually today. And it was very interesting. I saw most of the sand. It was huge. It was very apparent to me. There was this huge bearded man, and he had glasses. He's lying on his stomach. I'll show it to you in a minute. He's lying on his stomach looking in the mirror. It looks like he's got goggles on, like he's in the snow, but he's got this big blue beard. But it was definitely about the Divine Masculine seeing himself in the mirror after having been defeated. And then I was seeing again the bottom of the ocean. So I was seeing like a giant jellyfish, or even a giant claw, it could be too. digging up with lights underneath, like a spaceship, jellyfish type of thing, along the ocean floor, searching for things. With a mini ship too, like a little jellyfish over here. And then spray, you know, like a skunk sprays, like that defense. That's the Divine Masculine right now, being very defensive. And then I saw a seal, so then them becoming more gentle again, and a blue Smurf hiding behind a mound. It's like the Divine Masculine is, you know, really just a little kid hiding. And then the last I saw in the sand art was bodies upon bodies everywhere, and the fall of Mount Rushmore in there. So it could just be another timeline of Mount Rushmore. But I'm going to show you the man in the sand, because that was pretty significant. So I don't know if you can see how well you'll be able to see it, but see over here. See the man with the beard looking in the mirror? He's like lying, he's a big guy lying on his stomach looking in the mirror with glasses on, like goggles. And then you have like the jellyfish or spaceship. This one over here definitely has lights underneath it, searching the ground of the ocean. So I thought that was pretty cool. So here we are. It is April 13th, 2018. It is 28 today, the Two of Wands. It's also a 1, which is the masculine energy. It's the 8 of inner strength, working through the feminine outer energy. So Divine Masculine's in his feminine on the outside, trying to be very strong on the inside. And 13 today is the Death card. It's transformation. It says transformation of the Two of Wands, transformation of the twins, total and complete transformation. So it's been going on for a while now, but this is, you know, the last of it coming up, the real dregs being pulled up. So if you're being guided to go back and heal wounds that you've already cleared, it's because there's a last little bit that you need to clear, or it's just an illusion timeline, you know, coming back to you to review, but it's not real anymore. You're clear. You know, the twins are all sealed and cleared right now. When I did my my reads this morning for myself, I was guided to meditate at a certain moment and then look at my hand etherically, and I didn't see my hand. Like usually when you close your eyes, you can see the person in front of you, their energy, okay? But I didn't see my hand right away, which is what I was looking at. I saw the etheric body of my hand, and it was the reflection. It wasn't this position, it was this position. So that's and it was waving at me. It was literally my Divine Masculine waving back at me. And then I looked in again to see my hand, which is, you know, I see as dark, you know, because when it's light on the outside, when you see it visually, inside it's very dark. And it became darker, showing the effect of what's going on, the air in my house from the transformation of my basement that's very dark. But it's very cool that I saw the reflection of the etheric hand as opposed to the exact double. So it came up for the Divine Feminine that, you know, you've basically aced your lessons at this point. The only one with some residual learning to do has to do with handling manifestation and money issues, work issues. And then I got the relationship change. There's some very positive energies coming up this morning for the twin flame connection. And I got, we are magic. You can have everything that you desire. Magic. You're the one who can put out my fire. Once the ceiling is patched and the walls are painted and the energy is back after cleanup, and I literally got in this card, and it is the Rider-Waite, in the Tower card reversed, you see the crown in this card being blown off the top of the tower, right? But when it's reversed, It's literally an M with like the explosion in between the M and the crown, Mary Magdalene and Jesus's crown. Okay? So it was bringing this up at the parallel to the twins, Mary and Jesus, that this is the last of the cleanup of the Mary and Jesus separation. And Spirit's connecting with me. And also the kids starting to reflect each other. So they're starting to naturally do the shadow work off of each other. Instead of freaking out, like going to their separate corners to heal the wound and then coming back together again. That's what I was getting. Okay. So things are being cleaned up. Families are healing. The Divine Masculine is making magic for the new love to come in. And also when I saw that card reversed like that, and it was specific to the cards that were on top of it, that's why I noticed those two things together. The M, which I never noticed before when that card's reversed, which also I saw when I woke up, right? It was the same thing I'd gotten at the Cathar's Castle when we were meditating at the bottom of the hill. From Jesus, look to the sun and to the butterflies, which was literally in the arrangement of cards I had. And why would you close your eyes when there's all of this to see? Which was his reference of his time on the cross. Okay. So, yep. So the Divine Feminines too are being called to wrap up everything, you know, with their kids and things like that still need to be taken care of, their marriages if they haven't ended their marriages yet. But the Divine Masculines are they're on their way now. Some of them won't come through right away, and of course some of you are just waking up, so it's not going to be quite as soon. But just follow your knowing. Keep yourself distracted with other things. Don't pay attention to your Divine Masculine right now. Okay? So you're going into other directions, paying attention to your children, your home, maybe even getting some attention from other men, which is fine. But it's just the natural occurrence. It's not something you're forcing to do. You just see that this is naturally occurring in your mastery, in coming this long way and coming out of this journey that you've been on for years. In your knowing, you've now been able to get over this broken heart and know that you're worthwhile and that you're worth other people's attention, not just your twin, and to spread the love. So it's focusing on mission, it's focusing on your family, it's focusing on your home, but other things that make you happy. Go forward and do the things that make you happy. And that literally, you know, creates the pull on the other side, which is just natural. It's supposed to happen this way. Yep. And this, like I said, the cards for this morning were just really positive about the Divine Masculine. Just, you know, cleaning up their last issues too, and looking forward to union. Okay. So now I'm going to do a Divine Masculine read for you. Just move my stuff here. I'm using my usual, my Golden Universal Tarot. And we're at 53, 53. Alright, let's clear. This is for the Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. It is April 13, 2018. April 13, 2018. For Divine Masculine, Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. Okay. Please be clear. April 13, 2018. Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. bit. Okay, so first card is the Sun. Yay, and it's a beautiful day here. So the central issue, the Sun, which is his challenge, is the Knight of Swords. The foundation for the Divine Masculine is the Moon. The recent past is the Four of Cups. In his head and heart, in his now moment, is Justice. In the near future is the Eight of Wands. How the Divine Masculine sees himself. The Eight of Pentacles. There's two eights right there, so 8-8 is going to be a big day for a lot of people. Around the Divine Masculine is the High Priestess. Then you have 8-2, 28. It's the reflection of 28. The outbox, so this is not hopes and fears for me. This is the outbox, what you need to clear, or the Divine Masculine needs to clear, which is the Two of Pentacles. Yes, he needs to clear that. It's him keep him busy all the time. And then the Destiny card, so the summary of the read, which is the Ace of Wands, which is new passion, okay? And then after the read. So what's the energy going to be after the read? And that is the Four of Pentacles, okay? And this has to do with my floor going down, okay? So it's very practical. And then the bottom of the deck is the Five of Wands, okay? So that's the underlying energy for the Divine Masculine. I always go at least 3 down, or the bottom 3. So we have these are the 3 cards at the bottom of the deck for the underlying energy, the King of Swords, the Six of Swords, and then the Five of Wands, okay? So the Five of Wands is the main underlying energy. But leading up to that, it was the King of Swords finding peace, okay? And in this card specifically, it looks like the Hermit's there, so he's been the Hermit. And either he's going with a friend or he's just taking a ride out on a boat. Could be going to the beach. Could be alone. But then the fighting came out, okay? So maybe he was away for a bit to take a break by himself and then came back to the conflict again. So then you can see how he's like not on solid ground because he's on a boat, you know, so it's not stable. This is that instability that it was founded upon, okay? So in the past he was getting a lot of attention. You know, he became cold because he was trying to detach. And then everything that he had built you know, became rocky, you know, in unstable ground, which caused more conflict. So in the recent past, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, yeah, let me pull the other decks first. I just need a sip of water. Okay. So for the numerology deck, clear. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot of room on this desktop. Clear, and this is for the Divine Masculine, Organic Divine Masculine. What is the advice? What is the advice? What's he going through? Okay, we have domestic harmony, okay, so he's trying to get his home in order. And the bottom of the deck is patience. Okay, that's all orange, that's all sacral, the underlying energy. And then domestic harmony is the current energy that he needs to deal with the emerald Merkaba in the center, which is perfect, because this means communication from his heart, okay? That's how he's going to get his domestic harmony, basically. So not just his home, but himself. And then we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Clear. Clear. Oh. I'm not going to use this, but this popped. And it's the Queen of Cups. She wants to be seen. I have to tell you, by the way, in numerology, and if anyone wants me to do their numbers for them, I'm happy to do that. That's one of my services. The numerology reading will give you your soul number, your life lesson number, your outer personality number, your destiny number, as well as the transits through your life. They go in 9-year cycles. It's according to the divine triangle. And there's a couple twin flame friends I talk to on a regular basis. And it's very interesting because my soul number is the Queen of Cups. And both of my twin flame friends that I talk to on a regular basis, their soul numbers are also the Queen of Cups. So, pretty cool. So for the Tarot of Sexual Magic, for the Divine Masculine, we have, this is the Knight of Swords. That's like the harsh truth at home. And then the Strength card, so that could be a Leo energy, but it's also just about the Divine Masculine being strong. And then we have the Two of Pentacles, which is like a little sneak attack there. And, yep, one more. And then the Get Your Wish cards, that's the Nine of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles. No, I'm sorry, Seven of Swords. Okay, and this is about, you know, they have a connection, but obviously they're not physically connected. They could be at a distance, they're just not talking. Okay, and then the clarification cards. I'm going to do the Romance Angels first. Clear. For the Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. What is the advice? A little heavy. What is the advice for the Divine Masculine Twin Flames? Divine Masculine Twin Flames. What is the advice for the Divine Masculine Twin Flames? Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. Forgiving and learning. Okay. And the bottom of the deck is Unrequited Love. And forgiving and learning says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. So as I said, they're going through cleaning up what's already occurred. Clear. 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 This is for the Organic Divine Masculine clarifier. So for the bottom of the deck, the underlying energy was conflict. You have the Five of Wands. It can also be competition. And we have the King of Swords there underneath it. So that's the Divine Masculine energy, which is in his very logical, truthful, but can be cold place, okay? So we get the Wheel of Fortune reversed, okay? So it's like conflict is maybe to slow things down on purpose, actually. And we also have the Knight of Pentacles. And now I'm always seeing the wheel, when the Wheel of Fortune is reversed now, because we're all getting so close to union, it's like coming up every time as slow motion. So it's like being in another timeline, right? So the Knight of Pentacles is now moving forward. Even if there's conflict or competition, he's now moving forward in slow motion. He's not allowing anything to affect him, okay? Which is perfect. In the recent past is the Four of Cups. And that's the, sorry about that, is the Page of Swords, clarifying that. So it's speaking up about how they feel. That it can be a card of boredom, it can be a card of not wanting what's being offered to them at present because they want something else. And it's also about them grounding. They need grounding. That's why the divine, you'll find the Divine Masculines often are out hiking. I can't tell you how many, even the divine feminines who are more divine masculine, they're all out, they're hikers. They're constantly out in the woods for hours trying to ground themselves, okay? So it's about him speaking up. It's the Page of Swords, so a message needs to be sent. Or maybe just the divine masculine being sad because he's afraid to speak his truth. He's feeling, you know, like the victim right now, okay? So let's see what else comes up. In the foundation is the moon. The moon. Okay, the moon. And this, in the moon, the lobster's at the start of the path in the water, right? The divine masculine in his emotions. And there's two dogs there, but they're kind of distracted. So the lobster has his opportunity to make his way through the dogs, okay? So this is what came up. That's the Ten of Swords and the moon, okay? So reconfirming the moon energy is the foundation. But we have the Ten of Swords upright, which is, it can be betrayal, it can be a severe end, or it can be extreme back pain as well. But it's come to light, all right? So we have big moon and little moon, like mini-me, right? So it's like the full moon in two timelines. But this also can be an eclipse energy. The moon eclipsing the sun. It's like real finality too, because the full moon keeps coming up. This next full moon is a very significant ending. The sun is in the middle, okay? So now we have the moon in the foundation, but the sun is on top of it. So the sun is trumping the moon. And in this deck, you know, it's the child on the horse, excited, naked, being their truth. And the sunflowers. And lots of orange and yellow. And the cards that just fell out are the Page of Pentacles reversed, the Two of Wands, and then the Judgment card. Okay. This is on the sun. So the Judgment's very positive, it's upright, and the Two of Wands too can be it can be making a choice of path. It can just represent the twins with the world in the palm of their hands, right? So they're in their power. But now we have the Page of Pentacles, which is reversed. So there's no invitation, there's no offer, there's no researcher, there's no invitation. So the sun is upright. There's a lot of energy there and exposure. Exposure of an announcement of the divine masculine being called, even though he doesn't have an invitation, right? It also could be a child who's just not grounded. But the divine masculine, he's already heard the call, it's behind him. He's standing there with the world in his right hand, okay? So he's totally in control of his masculine, right? The left hand is holding on to one staff. So his creativity is in his left hand. That's his divine feminine, right? But the Page of Pentacles is reversed. So it's a practical energy. It could be that he needs a little money and he doesn't have that offer. It's just not there at the moment, and that's being exposed. The challenge is the Knight of Swords charging in at the sun, okay? So then we have the Hierophant. So this is about, it can be spirituality, just, you know, outside the norm. But it also can be divorce proceedings or breaking a contract, ending a job with a big institution, or, you know, something like that. It's very, you know, the Hierophant upright is very traditional, so reversed is very out of the box, thinking out of the box. But there's this Knight of Swords charging in at the sun. So the sun could be a Leo as well. It could be a Leo energy. The Leo energy could be like really loud person in the divine masculine's energy, but he's ignoring them. He's focusing on what he needs as far as monetary or practical things. to get things going, to get away from this energy. Doesn't want to be near that energy. And actually the sun energy, so if that's Leo, is over the moon energy, which is Cancer, which is much more miserable, right? Because we've got the Ten of Swords down there. So it's like the karmic trying to prevent the divine masculine from getting happy. Okay. But he knows that, and he's ignoring everything around him right now. And in the head and heart now moment is the Justice card. Okay, so it's can be Libra as well. So we have Libra, Leo, Cancer. We also have the High Priestess, which can be Pisces. Can be Virgo too. So the now moment in the divine masculine's head and heart is justice. It's balance. This balance is so important to them. And also I was getting to, it's them sitting on their high horse as well. Feeling like judge and jury, you know. So we have, I'm sorry I didn't show you. So it came out for the Justice card, all upright. We have the Nine of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Hangman. Reversed, when he's awake, okay? It's very positive energy. I mean, the Hangman, when he's awake like that, can also be a big head, but I'm not seeing that with the Ace of Cups upright and the Nine of Pentacles. That's about them being in their power. It can be someone else who's a Libra. It doesn't have to be the divine masculine. But it is energy about justice and balance, and it's very, very positive. So we have the Ace of Cups upright, which is a new love. A new love, and it could be with a very independent woman who's very awake. Okay. And the divine masculine now sees this as his justice. In the near future is the Eight of Wands, which comes up with the Five of Pentacles. So, and also the Nine of Swords reverse wants to come up. So it's about, you know, ending the suffering now, but still feeling injured and left out in the cold. So the divine masculine may not be expressing everything he should right now. And actually, this is popping out too, which is the Five of Swords reverse, which is like ending the battle. So it's like, you know, like I was discussing in the energies. It's that energy of the divine masculine coming back from battle and just being grateful to be alive. So he's just taking a break to heal himself. So he may not be expressing yet, but he wants to express. It is present. So it's the Eight of Wands is all about expressing from your heart, right? It's very passionate and very active. Lots of communication back and forth. So it's just, it may be in a little bit of slow motion right now because the divine masculine's in another world in a way. And then we have the Forgiving and Learning card next to the Moon and then him. So this is how he sees himself again, is the Eight of Pentacles. This clarifies as, and that's, you know, someone who's hard at work, and there could be some detail work. He could be making something special. So for the Eight of Pentacles, what is the clarification for the organic divine masculine twin flames and the way he sees himself? He sees himself, and we have, okay, so we have the Six of Wands and the Two of Swords reversed. Okay, so he sees himself as a very hard worker for the success that he has. Okay, and he's very clear about that. He's clear that his success is because of his, not only his hard work, but how good he is in his specialty. What he has something special to offer. And then around him again is the High Priestess, who could have initials B or J, which are on the card, and the Torah as well is on the card. a little stressed. The High Priestess. Just clarify. Okay, we got the Queen of Cups reversed and the Seven of Wands reversed for the High Priestess. So High Priestess can be someone, it can be a Pisces type person or a Virgo type person, but it can also just be a secret or secretive energies. And we have the Queen of Cups reversed on there with the Seven of Wands reversed. So there can be two situations here. So the Queen of Wands reversed can be just someone who's in despair, okay, and who's not defending themselves because they're in despair. The other one is going to be a very manipulative energy who has no defense, okay, because they were manipulative. So there's going to be two situations for the Divine Masculine. Either a very just sad person or a very manipulative person. Maybe someone who's getting back into the Divine Masculine, trying to get back in their good graces, but has no real defense. So he's basically ignoring them. His head's down. He's not paying any attention to this secret or this High Priestess. And then the Empress just popped out as I was shuffling. So if that's clarification for any of you, because that's Taurus energy, okay? But it's also someone older. Could be a mother as well. In the outbox for the Divine Masculine is the Two of Pentacles. So he needs to stop repeating patterns. He needs to stop performing and not being his authentic self. So let's look what the clarification is. The Two of Pentacles, what is the clarification? And I got the Two of Cups reversed. So stop going back and forth. If you broke up multiple times, finish that and just break up. Stop repeating patterns and going back and forth. Stop working so hard. It may just be that he's working a lot to catch up from financial loss from a breakup, but that's something he needs to clear. And then the summary of the read is the Ace of Wands. I showed you the cards. So the two cards to the right of the Ace of Wands, so the masculine side, is the Two of Pentacles with the Nine of Pentacles. So that's all about money again on the masculine side, but it's about he's working really hard. That's that Two of Pentacles to surprise someone with and giving them their wish. Okay, so that's very nice energy. And then on the Divine Feminine side of the Divine Masculine, for the Ace of Wands, all right, we have the Strength and the Knight of Swords. So this is more harsh energy. It's about being strong with the Strength card to endure the truth, okay? So it may be difficult for the Divine Feminine when she first hears the truth because it might hurt her feelings, but to be strong. But ultimately it's very good because on the other side, on the Divine Masculine side, what he's planning is a surprise for the Divine Feminine. And the surprise has to do with the Ace of Wands, which is a brand new passionate beginning. Could be a creative beginning as well. It clarifies though with 3 reverse cards. We have the Magician reversed, the Knight of Cups reversed, and then the Nine of Cups reversed. So it's saying that the Divine Masculine is feeling very insecure right now. He's feeling jealous. He's feeling not himself. Like normally he'd be upright as the king, as the Knight of Cups, you know, giving out love to everyone, right? As reversed, he's either just not doing that, not being himself, or he's feeling jealousy. He's also feeling the Magician reversed, which is a manipulative energy because ultimately the Magician reversed is not in his power. He doesn't feel like he has the tools to do what he needs to do to make magic. So he's feeling insecure, and then we have the Nine of Cups reversed, which is that too. It's not getting your wish. It's not feeling satisfied, right? Because he's sexually frustrated right now, and he wants this new start, but he may be held back right now by his fears, but also his situation not being able to go forward quite yet, okay? And then for the outcome card, we have the Four of, or not the outcome, but the after the read card is the Four of Pentacles. And like I said, that has to do with my floor being put down. I love this card because you see when it's upright, it's like doing work, patching up the floor. And then when it's reversed, it's like patching up the ceiling and doing other stuff, you know, so it can represent work being done around the home. And it is like that anyway. It's very structure oriented, building, stability, that kind of thing. So that clarifies with the Five of Cups reversed, which is getting over yourself, right? Being sad and then getting over it in order to come together in union. Okay, this is a really beautiful, creative business card, okay? So it's any creative projects. It's getting over any emotions involved with that project, like when I was having some issues in my current project, and just getting that done, taking care of business and making something beautiful. And then the bottom of this deck comes out as the Queen of Swords, okay? And she's speaking to you now. So the bottom three cards, I would put, it's the Seven of Pentacles reversed and the Page of Wands reversed, which can be another kid too. So there's two pages coming up in the more past, the present to the past, and the bottom of the deck of this card. So, all right, so you see the Seven of Pentacles here, which is no more waiting. He's not planning anymore. He's ready to take action. And down here, though, is the Page of Wands reversed, which in that case, he's feeling insecure sexually, maybe, or he's uninspired, or sexually frustrated, you know, like a teenage boy. And but he doesn't want to wait anymore. Okay, he's done planning, strategizing, and deciding how to take his practical life or his money forward. And then on top of that is the Queen of Swords speaking her truth. And she's covering him, okay? So he needs to get past the conflict with the Queen of Swords and the Leo. But there's also, like I said, the signs that can be involved in this read. I have Libra, Leo, Cancer, Pisces or Virgo, and yeah, Leo's coming up again too. So this Leo's very strong. And then the Empress comes up also as a clarifier, and then there's two kids in the clarifiers, not in the main read. Yeah, there's no pages in the main read. So the main read isn't about children, it's about what's going on with the union. And any breaking of contracts that's going on, or just even completing contracts. It doesn't have to be a breaking of a contract. Okay? But the ultimate card is the Ace of Wands sitting next to Justice, which is really beautiful. Okay? So there's some kind of great new creative beginning and growth. A lot of sexual energy with the Page of Wands reversed. And then the bottom three cards from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, I'm going to show you them as well, because we had the Seven of Swords right here, which is risky, you know, but we also have the Three of Pentacles again, because that came up in the regular deck, and then here is that's the Eight of Swords, okay, so feeling trapped, and this is someone, you know, distracting someone to get away with something. So there is still some sneaky business that's been going on, but that's clearing, and it had to do with cutting cords. So you're literally going to see it like this, because that I would never cover up. Okay? So the Divine Masculine feels like he did this to his Divine Feminine, and that's where they are right now. They're in separation. But he's been busy cutting cords. And the unrequited love, there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going, is in the underlying energy. The forgiving and learning card is the one that got picked. And also let go of control issues is right under unrequited love. So do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? When you're dealing with issues right now, that's the question you need to answer. Do you want to be right or happy? It's about pride and surrendering. And there's a bee outside my house hovering. What does he want to know? And again, patience at the underlying energy from the numerology deck. So I'm going to pick some oracle cards for you. This is from the Ascension deck. For the divine, this is for the organic divine feminine. The organic divine feminine. What is the advice for the organic divine feminine today? Okay, for the divine feminine, we got the Sphinx, and I think you just got that, so it must be important. It's number 20. The bottom of the deck is Earth. Earth is number 24, so that came up again. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not. It's 14. My eyes aren't very good these days. But still, 14 was one of the numbers that keeps coming up. So, and the affirmation for 14 in Earth, and 14 is the Temperance card, is I thank Lady Gaia for inviting me to be on Earth. Having gratitude, which I said was coming up for the divine masculine. This is now coming up for the divine feminine. The Sphinx. So for the divine feminine, it's number 20, which is the Judgment card again. It's the God power within with the feminine energy on the outside. Okay, coming out to it too, which is the feminine energy, being able to see both sides of the situation and mediate. Okay, the Sphinx energy has always been on Earth and watches over us. The high priest, Ra, brought it from Atlantis and placed it within the statue of the Sphinx in Egypt. You receive a charge of God force when you think about it, so relax and accept it now. The Sphinx contains the fifth dimensional records of Earth and the information within the crystal skulls. You're invited to visit the tunnel from the Sphinx to Hollow Earth, a portal of wisdom linked to the ascended aspect of Mars. We certainly have a lot of Mars energy going on right now. The Scorpio and Aries are Mars. From here, you can radiate peace and oneness throughout the universe. Okay, so it's saying to think about the Sphinx, and actually I've been getting pyramids again in my sand art. So it's telling you, it wants to give you downloads because it's got all the crystal skull information. So just be open to receive. Stay present and open. Most important right now is wound clearing. All right. Because we're getting to the place we want to be by clearing our wounds. So anything that comes up again for review, review it. Sit with it. Okay, for the divine masculine, we're getting 2 cards. We have animals at the bottom, which is number 2. So emphasizing their feminine energy, and maybe they're spending time with animals. For the organic divine masculine twin flames, you got the amethyst skull and Lord Cthulhu. Okay. Lord Cthulhu is 36, which is a 9 of compassion, universal selflessness, and endings. It's the 6 of love, family, and community on the inside, working through the 3 of expressing yourself. Smiley, happy-go-lucky, being social. It has to do with siblings as well. So being very loving and motherly on the inside, and then more like the best friend who's always smiling on the outside in order to be compassion. Lord Cthulhu is the world teacher. In his incarnations as St. Francis, and by the way, I was in St. Francis of Assisi before it was destroyed, in a backroom mass with a brown-eyed, blue-eyed monk and 2 girls praying on the floor. I was very young. In his incarnations as St. Francis Shah Jahan, who built the Taj Mahal, and Melchior, I'm not sure how to pronounce, one of the wise men, Lord Cthulhu practiced harmlessness, love, and wisdom. These energies are encapsulated in this card, so you're encouraged to spread knowledge and spiritual truth to others with humility and inspiration. Be ready to learn, for Lord Cthulhu is drawing your attention to something important. He is a member of the Brotherhood of the Golden Robe, those who take in and transmute the pain of the world. If you're sensitive to energies, ask him to wrap you in his light. And the affirmation is, I'm open to learning and teaching. And that's what the Divine Masculine got in his read today. It was learning and forgiving and learning. So being more open to spiritual truth. And by the way, just more about me, I have no religious upbringing. So when I talk about Jesus and Mary, it's purely spiritual and from a connection that I had organically since I was in junior high school. I had no affinity to any specific religion. My parents' background was Jewish. But then we found out 10 years ago that my father's father wasn't his biological father, and that his real father was Russian Orthodox. So you never know until you know. But anyway, anything I say about Jesus and Mary is purely organic for me, okay? And it's very spiritual. The other card, the Divine Masculine God, is the Amethyst Skull, which is number 21, which is the world. It's the 1 of the masculine energy on the inside, very driven and focused, with the 2 of the feminine mediative energy on the outside. And it becomes a 3, which again is that happy-go-lucky, smiling person. You know, I would think of Jesus as a 3 on the outside. You know, very social and loving to everyone. And rainbow children remind me of a number 3 on the outside as well. During the golden era of Atlantis, each of the high priests and priestesses of the 12 tribes fashioned a crystal skull that was an advanced computer and programmed it with the knowledge and wisdom held by their tribe. All the information was placed into the Amethyst Master Skull, which is kept safely in the inner planes. Receiving this card suggests you look for the highest perspective in a situation that presents itself to you. Explore the details, and when you have all the facts, take decisions with wisdom and integrity instead of being defensive and prideful. Okay? The affirmation is, I explore all the information before I take decision. So be careful to build a strong foundation, and don't be defensive about the criticisms that may come up and may be important for your foundation. Okay? To be open to all of that. And again, this talks about the skull. So for the Divine Masculine, both to be open to receiving messages. It's very important right now. So for the past life deck, it's a past life deck. Here. This is for the Divine Feminine first. For the Organic Divine Feminine Twin Flames, what is the advice? What is the advice for the Organic Divine Feminine? Organic Divine Feminine, here we go. We got Spouse. Nice. And then the bottom of the deck is Native American, which comes up a lot for you guys. Okay. So if any wounding is coming up, it might have to do with a previous marriage in this lifetime, or marriage in previous lifetimes, or with your twin previously. And something might have come up from a Native American life together, or just a marriage from a Native American life that needs clearing. And again, I always see this as this card as a funnel, or even like a spaceship. But it's like, if it were reversed, it's like a funnel growing roots into the earth. Okay. Which, you know, the Native American life is very, very practical and grounded. And that's the message I'm getting now too, is it's so important to have such a strong foundation, very grounded, in order to weather the practicalities of life, and to make sure you have proper protection. Okay, the umbrella from sometimes stormy weather. Okay, make sure you ground yourself. Ground. And watch out for spaceships. Okay, so for the Divine Masculine, that Spouse came up. That's nice energy for the Divine Feminine. For the Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames, what is the advice for the Organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames? We have Medicine Man or Woman. So here we have an Indian card again with a dream catcher on it. The bottom is authority figures. Okay, so, and see, there's a gavel. So court issues for the Divine Masculine, and having to do with a Native American life that you both had together. Divine Masculine and Feminine both got this card. And I'm getting too that you don't need a dream catcher to manifest your dreams. It's about visualizing. Your mind is your dream catcher, because you want to clear that for your heart manifestations, right? So you want to visualize every day what you want in your reality. Make it your reality now so that you manifest it. Okay? That's for Divine Masculine. Okay, so these are the two cards together. Medicine man or woman, and authority figures. So it could have to do with, some of them are medical professionals. Some of them could be lawyers. Some of them could have both issues right now. You know, court could be any kind of contract issues or divorce. And maybe some people have some health issues or have worked for medical authorities. Okay? So if there's any past life issues related to this stuff, you know, you need to feel into that wounding. The Divine Masculine. Maybe, and especially in the medical field for what we're going through, because we're bringing a lot of holistic practices into play. Maybe past lives where the Divine Masculine doesn't have trust for other medical professionals because of what he's experienced in past lives or even in this life, even if they are a medical professional. Not having trust for others in his field. So here's the journey of love for the organic Divine Feminine Twin Flame. Organic Divine Feminines. Organic Divine Feminine Twin Flames. What is the advice? What is the advice? What is the advice? Organic Divine Feminines. What is the advice? We have Heart of the Moment. Heart of the Moment is number 16, which is the Tower. If you're interested, the bottom of the deck is Sensual Awakening, which is 64, which is a 1. Alright, and this is very red. It's all about the heart, the Divine Feminine. But it's also Tower energy. 16 is a 7, so it's very spiritual. So Tower doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's very spiritual, you know. When anything gets disrupted, it gets disrupted for a reason, to go back to the original foundation and build it stronger. So Heart of the Moment reads, and this is for the Divine Feminine, you are entering a time in your life where past and future are colliding. In this present moment, you have a powerful opportunity to decide how you wish to continue a certain pattern of relating or not. This may mean leaving a relationship or starting a new one, but even if you cannot yet make that decision with peace in your heart, you can still partake of the heart of this moment and decide how you shall choose to be. Will you speak? Will you choose to let go of shame and criticism, of judgment and anxiety, of loss and despair, and just be with your own heart now? Will you choose in this moment to trust yourself, even if that trust says you have to wait a while longer before you can make a more long-term decision? This is the time when you can alter your future, stepping into relationship with another, with the divine, with yourself in a new way. Even the smallest choice for love is a step in the best direction. You have the heart of the divine within you, and Spirit's connecting with me. It's not too hard for you to choose love. Let go of the people who want to choose jealousy or fear or doubt. Their games are not nearly as fun. Choose love, and who knows, maybe it will join your party instead, and Spirit's connecting with me. This oracle brings you a message. You're in a transition zone in your life and relationships. It is one moment that will manifest as many opportunities. It is one moment that will manifest where one choice will open up many pathways to fulfillment for you. We always have the chance to create our future with our present choices, but at this time you are in an especially fertile karmic period, having just come out of a cycle of learning and about to enter into a new cycle. This is the time to be willing to take a chance or to risk to be happy within yourself, no matter what is going on around you. Your life is about to take a karmic turn, and you can feel peace in that knowing. And the poem reads, love provides the opportunity to express the core essence of your very nature. It touches us at a level of feeling beyond the human norm and renders our beings incapable of a feeling with greater depth or wonder. Love is the fabric of life. It is the substance that holds it all together, and the magic that opens the unknown. It is the quality that speaks to our soul, that opens our heart, that excites our spirit and allows us in its presence to become something greater than ourselves, something more than we are alone. Okay? And that's for the Divine Feminine. So just in things that are coming up for the Divine Feminine, just make sure to standing in your truth and be authentic to you. Don't be afraid to be you. Don't be afraid to hurt someone else's feelings by speaking your truth. That truth always trumps love and truth. Okay? So for the Divine Masculine, for the journey of love, let's see here. This is for the organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames. What is the advice? What is the advice for the organic Divine Masculine Twin Flames? Loving all that is. 22, the Fool. And the bottom is what the Divine Feminine got. Heart of the Moment. Okay? So that's his underlying energy. And then again, here's loving all that is. Very beautiful. And 22 is a 4. It's seeing it just as it is. The feminine energy all the way through. The Fool. Being able to see all that is. Seeing both sides of the situation on the inside and being able to see both sides of the situation on the outside. And being very loving. You wise awakening being, this is for the Divine Masculine, you can love all that is. You can love your tears and your sadness, for they are a testament to your open heart. You can love your numbness and your fatigue, for they show that you have worked hard and are now in need of rest. You can love your energy and passion, and Spirit's been connecting with me. Even when you are so far ahead of the pack, you have to wait a while for everyone else to catch up. Maybe a day, maybe a decade or so, because you choose not to curb your enthusiasm for anyone. You can love your anger because underneath its fire is a desire for respect. And you can love your peacefulness, and Spirit's connecting, because within your heart you really don't care much for fighting sometimes. If there is something that is shaming you, worrying you, challenging you, it's okay to just love it. It will make sense when it needs to, and until then, just love it. Even when it hurts, for it's part of your own divine nature awakening. It may just be like a painful cramp happening because it's been curled up for too long. This oracle brings you a sweet message. You are just asked to love. Everything else will take care of itself. The poem reads simply, a state of being, allowing, receiving, becoming one with all that is. Okay? So for the Divine Masculine to just let go and allow that everything's okay. Don't worry. It's all good. Loving all that is. Okay? Just real quickly too, before I go, I just wanted to give you, for those of you who don't know me, just a little history about who I am, where I come from, my background. I was in the medical industry. I managed research for 25 years. I worked at University of Penn. I left after rehabbing a back injury for 3 years. It's now been about 5 years since my back injury. And then a concussion as well, where I was jogging and I got hit by a car. So I had a very significant concussion, which ultimately led to me needing to leave work because I really couldn't deal with all of the details that I used to work with at work. But there were other reasons that I felt kind of pushed out of my work. But it was okay because I knew it was my leap of faith in a way. So I've gone through all these energies. I also grew up doing gymnastics for 8 years competitively. So I have a good understanding of the physical body. My aura is green and I am a golden blue ray. I am mainly a healer. And it was not easy, you know, making the YouTube channel when I first came out. It's not like me to be very outward about my personal business. I've always been a very private person, very shy when I was young. My mother had tried to kill herself when I was 2 years old, so obviously those were big abandonment issues that I didn't even know I had, because I didn't know that happened until I was almost 30, and really didn't work on it until past 8 years or so. So if you resonate with me, that's great, and if you don't, it's just because our energies aren't matching up right now, which is fine, because everybody's on a different place in their path. And I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in and giving me a chance. And if you need anything from me, just let me know, okay? If there's something that I don't list in my services, it's a very simple web page. Please let me know. I do also have a package service where I do an hour a week session. It's shadow work together, like having a best friend twin flame to work out some shadow work with. I'm very good at bringing up those wounds with other people. And it gives you an hour each week in addition to text or email me multiple times. So you have another hour each week to communicate with me if you need to, back and forth, to really help bring up those wounds. And it also comes with my video, and if you're in the US, I will also send you a copy of my CD. Okay? So you can see that on my website, and my information again is below. And I want all of you to just have an amazing week. The energies are really good. We're coming out of some really deep transformation. And I'm feeling August 8th is definitely going to be a big date for a lot of us, obviously Lionsgate. But otherwise, they're coming in. So have a great week, you guys. I love you. Rise and be loved.